sometimes when you get an extreme amount of no's for the day, it might be a little bit like demotivating in a sense. So just having a positive outlook, don't letting yourself get emotional to the results, I'd say is probably one of the biggest things that help me move forward.
Awesome. We're live. Quick little podcast / informational video we wanted to put together, inspired from Patrick David's The Untold Truth About Your First Year in Sales, 10 Things You Need. He dropped a year ago. Obviously, Patrick David, same industry, or was same industry as us, life insurance. And I've got 3 out of 5 of my top dogs with me. So shout out to the individuals that aren't here, Dave Wang and Rob Jackson. I'll share some hints and some tips from them as well. But we wanted to have a conversation. PBD's video is phenomenal. I recommend you go check it out, The Untold Truths About Your First Year in Sales and the 10 Things You Don't Know or You Need to Know. But we wanted to have a conversation and share more of our thoughts. You're going to hear some parallels, some overlap, but here's some of our thoughts. So I got first up Brandon Gamagami. We got Nate Fromm in the middle, and we got Justin Masca on the end. All these guys made well over 6 figures this last year in insurance, and they're young and believe in values and virtues and taking care of people and themselves. So let's just have a conversation. We don't have to be real awkward or anything like that. Brandon, what are let's start with you. Some of your thoughts in regard to what do people not know their first year getting into sales? What do they need to know? Yeah. And what do they not know?
100%. I think one of the biggest things is just having a good outlook. So you can't get emotional to the results. I think when you start off in sales, especially being like completely brand new, you're not going to know exactly what you're doing. And when you don't know what you're doing, you're going to find yourself failing. Yeah. And when you fail in sales, you're going to get a lot of no's. And I feel like sometimes when you get an extreme amount of no's for the day, it might be a little bit like demotivating in a sense. So just having a positive outlook, don't letting yourself get emotional to the results, I'd say is probably one of the biggest things that help me move forward.
I'm reading this book from Dana White, recommended, The Creative Act, A Way of Being, from Rick Rubin. It says, failure is the information you need to get where you're going. I shared with you guys earlier. I think that's phenomenal. So not getting emotional to results. Yep. I talked to a guy at Jiu-Jitsu last night. He was talking about the inconsistency in sales. But you can stay consistent in your controllables. That might not always translate into revenue. That might not always translate into, scoreboard. But internally, it can translate into self-development, growth, and just becoming a better individual day-to-day basis. So, 100%. Fire. What about you, Nate? What are some of your thoughts?
I'd say more so in like the direct specifics of sales in general. If you're, no matter what kind of sales you're in, but especially in the industry that we're in, obviously you always want to take into consideration everything your clients or your customer says. But sometimes the things that they're saying, like the rebuttals that they're giving, are putting their mind and they're going in a different direction than what's going to help you actually sell, a policy or whatever you're looking to sell. So like more so, like I said, just in specifically sales in general, and like actual advice would be, if you are starting to get rebuttals, instead of just shutting your customers down and going a separate direction, hear them out, understand what they say, but don't dwindle on, hey, I can't afford, I want to think about it. Different rebuttals that you're going to get in almost any industry. Don't dwell on it and feed that. Go around it. Understand what they say, but have something that backs it up that's of more value to get their mind back on track to where you want to go and where you want the conversation to go. It would definitely be mine.
Yeah, that's fire. That's fire. That's just your simple feel, felt, found. Yeah. You're not gonna persuade anybody or convince anybody by making them feel dumb, completely ignoring them. Just imagine like all the sales experiences you've had where you didn't buy something because the salesperson made you feel dumb. Yep. They weren't listening to your requests, your questions. They just were telling you what they wanted to say, not what you wanted to hear.
Yep.
Right? So that's probably where people lose sales. So I 100% agree with Nate. Let's go into you, Justin.
I would say, one of the biggest things for people getting into sales or business would be to have patience and grace with yourself and understand that what you see on Instagram, all the gurus that are making millions of dollars passively, or all the crazy things you see on TikTok.
I'm 12 with a Lambo.
Yeah, some billionaire 12-year-old on YouTube. Just understand that they're probably in their chapter 10 when you're starting your chapter 1.
Or chapter 12. Yeah. Already beating us.
Yeah, but it's just going to take a little bit longer than you expect. There's going to be adversities that pop up, things that happen that you're not prepared for, and you have to be prepared for it to take a while. And I think any successful person has gone through years of droughts or results not being what they want, and ultimately it makes you cherish what you get down the road more because you had to earn it. It was a little bit more of a difficult road. I think anybody that gets anything easy doesn't value it as much,
Absolutely.
So I think just taking a long time.
When you shared your tip, I immediately, and PBD shared something similar, his opening lines, and it makes me think that you both have read John Maxwell, because that's pretty much all I've read a majority of John Maxwell the last couple of years. And the biggest thing that he says, when you're pursuing greatness, it always takes longer than you think, and it's always harder than you anticipate. When you set out to do it, you want it to happen in a week, a month, or a year, and it usually takes a year, 5 years, or 10. And you expect it to be a lot easier than it is, and it's a lot harder than it is. It's a lot of dials.
Yeah.
It's a lot of late nights, early mornings, sleepless nights, going back to zero. That's something nobody likes talking about, but that's entrepreneurship, that's success. And just dealing with BS, dealing with negative publicity. You guys are starting to post social media and build a brand for yourselves. What is that attracting?
Crazy people, man.
Crazy people.
Crazy
People
comments.
just saying the craziest things, researching, coming up with crazy. They'll find your mom, your dad, your address.
They knew where my car was financed.
Know where your
at.
car.
Yeah.
The craziest things. And this is level 1. Imagine level 10. So I think that's all phenomenal. I'll start asking some questions too. Let's try to wrap up in 5 minutes. But I know Dave would say, being 1,000 years old and a couple hundred years into the insurance industry, what do you think his advice would be? Just last?
I don't even know.
Make sure you carry a gun or something. I don't know.
Just
Definitely like
cherish
outlast
your-
and like how you do one thing is how you do everything, and
cherish
like
your relationships.
yeah.
Yeah, take care. I think the biggest thing I've always gotten from Dave is just people. Care about people. Take care of yourself and don't be stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that just means in regard to business and outside of business. Don't lose the deal over one deal, inside of the deal or outside of the deal. Don't compromise your business and your life over being irrational, making poor decisions, doing bad things, and don't take advantage of people. Realize that the people contributing to your business as you scale into leadership, they are the real CEO. I was thinking about that. The king, the queen, the CEO, it's not the leader that's just playing around with charts. It's the individual that's producing. So
Yep.
I think that would be the biggest thing that I got from Dave. I called Rob up, and Rob told me his biggest piece of advice would be personal development. So when you're brand new, finding some time to develop yourself and lock in on a vision of becoming a better individual, because it's that Shark Tank analogy. If you take a great white shark and it's a baby and you put it in a 4-foot tank, how big's it going to get? No bigger than 4 foot. You know what I mean? You go put it in the ocean, it can go up to 20 feet, right? I don't know if that's possible, but it's going to get a lot bigger than 4 foot. So It's the same deal in regard to us as individuals. You can only grow in correspondence to your capacity, and you can only expand your capacity through self-development. You got to read. You got to develop your soul. You got to develop your body, because health is wealth. If you don't have good health, then your battery life might only be 30 years of life, 40 years of life. And it's going to be hard to accomplish a lot of great things if you don't get a decent amount of decades on this earth. The things I wanted to share on here
Along with
was,
that was like, if you're a 5, you can only hire 4s. 3s,
yeah,
and
you
2s,
can't.
only people
You're only
can
going to attract
actually lead.
losers.
Yeah.
I think of it that because people are like, well, how can I get better people and how can I get more people? Well, I ask them this: how much money are you making? Everybody wants to talk about the development and how many books you've read, but like at the end of the day, we're here to make money.
Yeah.
How much money are you making? That you're attracting people to the level of wealth that you're generating. You want better people, go start generating millions of dollars. You're generating $10 a week. Somebody's like, how can I get better people? Well, bro, you make $10 a week. Who do you think you're going to recruit to come make $10 a week?
Yep.
Dog, go out there and sell and protect 20, 30, 40, 50 families in a week. And you're going to go make 20, 30 grand this week. And it's going to be incredible. And you're going to find a lot better people. You got people in car. How are you going to recruit someone from car sales? You making $10 a week. They're making $1,000 a week, $2,000 a week, $3,000 a week. The finance manager might be making $4,000. And you're going to tell them, hey, look, I got a great opportunity. I just made $10 last week. But if you come here, I'm going to be better off. Yeah, that's not going to work. One of the things I like, PBD said, he's like, you got to buy into your product. If you can't sell your product and you don't believe in your product to the extent that you own your product, why are you in that market?
Yep.
Why are you in that market, right? Your environment determines your elevation. When you leave here, what's your environment? Are you hanging around with people that are going out and drinking? Are you hanging around with people that are going out and partying? Are you hanging around with people that just have no vision for their life in regard to where they're going? If you've got a low-level environment and you're hanging around with people that are hanging at this level, How are you going to get to that level?
Yeah.
The only way you can get to that level is to get along with people that are going in that direction. Right now, these people playing in this plateau in a field of mediocrity, they're going to stay in the field of mediocrity. Yeah. And that could be family and friends. Like for me, like blood isn't family. What's family is relationships and values and virtues and blood, sweat, and tears with people. Shed blood with people. Shed tears and shed sweat with people. That's family to me. So when people are like, well, my mom and dad told me I'm not making enough money. You guys ever had experiences like that?
Definitely.
And then how and it's no offense to their parents, but how wealthy are their parents that are telling them this?
I've made what they made in a year, in a month, or even a week.
You know, exactly. So it's like, what are these parents are making 50, 60 grand a year? And I'm not shaming the money, but we're talking about individuals that have a vision of making 100,000. If you want to make 100,000 a year, can you get coaching from someone making 50,000 a year? That's never made 100,000.
No.
Probably not. Probably not, right? So where are you getting your coaching from? That ties into my next fact or my next piece or tip would be, don't take advice from people you wouldn't want to trade places with.
Yep.
Gym, intellectually, financially, if they're giving you advice and you wouldn't want to trade places with them, your first year, this is so crucial because you're going to go home those first couple months when you're not making that much money and you're trying to figure out how to ride the bike. You got the training wheels on and you're making a bunch of dials. You're memorizing scripts and you're researching your product. You're not making a bunch of money, but you're doing a bunch of work. And it was explained to me by my regional manager when I came into the insurance industry. He's like, Tristan, the guy's name was Tommy Vino. He's like, you're going to do this much work, and you're going to make this much money. I was like, that sounds horrible. He's like, you're going to do $1 million of work, and you might make 100 grand your first year. But as years go by, you're going to do like not even $100,000 worth of work, and you're going to make millions.
Yep.
I'm in those years now. But when I started, he was 100% right. I was doing $1 billion of work is what it felt like. And I made $114,000 my first year. 22 years old, make my first 7 figures. I was like, I feel like I worked the least amount. Now I've got this imposter syndrome where I'm like, I got to text everybody, every other day and ask them if they need anything. What could I do better? What could I do better? Your perspective. In the very beginning, you're going to do more than what you get paid for. But if you keep showing up and you stay locked in, a lot of people get shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Something will pop up and they're like, I should go do this. What do you guys think about those people? Do they make it?
No.
Who are the people that don't make it?
The people that don't make it?
Yeah, if we'll end it with this. If you've made it this far and you aren't scared yet, and you're like, I want to get in sales or I want to stay in sales, let's tell them here's the guarantee way. Because there's so many ways for you to get rich in sales. So many products, services, companies you can create or go work with. But what's the guarantee you guys have seen that'll make someone fail and make no money?
Ego, not coachable.
Ego, not coachable?
Yeah. I'd say if they're not willing to understand that this takes time. So number one, I think would be my biggest piece of advice would just be that they don't have the desire. So they don't have the actual want or the desire or the need to. And I've been expressing that a lot lately is like, the people that come in that have a place to go to every single night, 3 meals a day cooked for them, have no bills, no actual.
Yes.
They have no responsibilities. Comfort. It's all comfort, and they have no desire to actually want to make millions. So some people can come in here with money already, but it's to get to a higher level than that. But some people come in here.
Desire.
Yeah, some people come in here. They get 3 meals a day. They get to live with their family. They get to do everything with zero responsibilities whatsoever. They're not in a tough place where they have to make it work. So they come in and they do the mediocre work and they just do the basics and they don't ever try to become better. They just come in and do the motions. So that's a guaranteed way to fail. And if you're not willing to go as hard as you possibly can for 3 months, at least at the bare minimum, before you see results, then it's just simply not going to work. It was my
90 days,
it was my 4th month that it really took off for me. So
120. It was 6 months for me. What about you, Brandon? Guaranteed. If you don't do this, you're definitely going to fail. If you do this, you're going to fail. What is that?
Probably poor work ethic and just like bad schedule, just running your own schedule. Because I feel like people get the misconception when they think about like entrepreneurship and, they get to build their own schedule, work their own hours. I feel like they think that like they're able to just do whatever they want, whenever they want, when in all reality you sacrifice everything and you end up like spending all of your time, every single breathing hour that you have, you're working. You should be working if you want to do it right. And I feel like it all kind of overlaps to what Nate was saying is just desire and lack of clarity in your vision is why people are so lazy, I feel like. Because that's the biggest thing that I've noticed that leads to people to fail is just laziness, poor work ethic, and just bad clarity and vision, lack of clarity and vision.
100% agree. 100% agree. I think the only thing I would add that probably is just me saying the same exact thing that you guys are saying is if you 100% want to fail in sales, in making money, I'm going to share something scientific for you mathematicians. No mindset, no articulate sales advice, math. If you generate 0 presentations, you will not make money. I don't care what product, service, company that you're an entrepreneur, an intrapreneur that you're developing or that you're going to sell with. If you get 0 attention and you generate 0 presentations, I don't care if you do the cold tub, have a 6-pack, a no-pack, you read, you don't read. If you get 0 presentations, we're talking about sales. Book never closed for me. I love books. Hot tub, the cold tub, the sauna, the push-ups, never closed for me. I love being in shape. Never closed for me. Presentations has made me millions of dollars.
Yep.
If you can't generate presentations, if you don't got the will like Nate was talking, if you don't got the humility like Justin was talking, if you don't got the work ethic like Brandon was talking, all of those compile into generating presentations. So if you want to fail for sure, don't get presentations. Do whatever it takes legally, morally. Value people, value yourself to go get presentations. Have a great day. Thank you guys.